Awesome. So as you all know, we are 7 weeks into the course, and my name is Kim Ware, and I'm your instructor. If you don't know that by now, you might want to get busy because my name is everywhere on this course, so you should know who I am. And I'm pleased to give you this little crash course in public speaking. Now you're probably like, why is she sharing this with us? And there's two reasons. The first, well, actually three. The first is that because you're taking this class, you aren't taking the alternative, which is a public speaking class. The way that Brian does their degree tracks is a little bit different for each degree program. So as we've talked about before, you have to take a communication class as a prereq to completing your degree. So for some of you, you're thinking you got really lucky and you got to take interpersonal communication, because the second reason is most people are really afraid to speak publicly. It's one of the top stressors that people do aside from like moving and death. So I want to take some time to just make it easier for you, give you some tools to be able to do that. And then third, because you're not taking the public speaking class, I want to give you just a hinge of public speaking so that you can leave the communication arena feeling fully prepared. So first, I'm going to walk through warming up to speak publicly with you. I'm going to give you a tool for how to organize yourself. And then I'm just going to talk to you briefly about gestures. So the first of all is the warm up. So just like you warm up your body to do any kind of exercise, or you warm up your brain by making an agenda before you have a meeting, you can also warm your body up before you speak publicly. So something to think about is that if you feel nervous before you go to speak, it's a good thing, because that nervousness means that you care. In addition, you are highly unlikely to be asked to speak on a topic that you know nothing about. The reason you're asked to speak on something is because you have knowledge that other people want, and that gives you power. In the class, we've talked about the different power bases. So if you're asked to speak in something, you have expert power because you know about the topic. And then because you were asked, you have legitimate power. So you are welcome to be there. When it comes to warming up your body and calming down those nerves, I'm going to tell you that the bathroom or your car is your very best friend, because you can warm up your body in that space without anyone seeing you. There's an old movie that came out, I think in the early 2000s, that has Pierce Brosnan in it, and it's called In Lawfully Yours. And they're both attorneys. They're competing on the same case. And the way she warms up is she goes into the bathroom and she stuffs a pink snowball in her mouth. That's not what I'm advocating, though. If like chocolate is your go-to, I will join you. But aside from eating, you can warm up your face by massaging it. So just gently, and anyone who watches this, if you are laughing at me, you're welcome to do that. That's fine. But you can massage your face. You can warm up your mouth. Sometimes we get dry mouth when we have to speak, and so you can get your salivary or saliva glands going by blowing air out of your lips. You can blow air through your tongue, and then you can add sound to warm up your vocal cords. So again, it's gonna look silly, but and you can go up and down from low to high and high to low to make sure you're hitting those full ranges. You can do the sound with your tongue. And again, you could go from low to high, high to low. You can also breathe deeply, just breathing in and breathing out. Whenever you're in a stressful situation, like public speaking, breath is a phenomenal way to tell your body that it's okay, to send that adrenaline, just to kind of calm down those chemical processes that are happening. Another thing, if you tend to get tongue-tied, is you can use just your standard tongue twisters, like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? So pick your favorite tongue twister. If you don't know any, ask me. I'll give you a couple, and you can just work through those, and that will help warm you up. You can do jumping jacks. You can jog in place. You can walk around a little bit. But again, keep coming back to that deep breath and knowing that if you are asked to speak, you have power because you have information that somebody wants. Do you have any questions about those? Denise is my lone audience member. Do you have any questions, Denise?
Oh no, this is good.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, so now here is the tool, and this is where, Denise, I think you're really going to appreciate this because you're probably going to get put on the spot about your products. What can you offer them? If you are in the health field and you're looking at physical training, personal training, what can you give your client? And this is where you want the tell 'em adage. This is a great way to help you organize your own thoughts and help you organize your speech so that other people can follow you. So the idea is that you start by telling them what you're going to tell them. And then you tell them, and then you remind them what you told them. So for instance, when I started today, I told you what we're going to be talking about. I said, we're going to talk about warm-ups. I'm going to give you this tool, and we're going to talk about gestures. And now I'm in the middle of that. I'm doing those things. At the end, I'm going to remind you what I told you and maybe give you an action step for you to do, which is a call to action that you could do with your clients as well. So, let's pretend I just made a juice. Let's pretend that I am selling my beautiful juice. Let's see if you can see. It's green. We just got back from vacation, and I feel a little puffy, to be honest. So I have revived juicing in our household for at least the next week. This is a green juice. So I want to tell you why this juice is amazing, why it tastes okay, and why it's beneficial in recovering from vacation. So then I would go on. I would tell you that. And then I would remind you, oh my goodness, this tastes amazing. This juice is full of wonderful properties to help give yourself an immune boost and to make you feel great after having way too much fun and ice cream cake. So what are you waiting for? You want to juice with me? So you see how I very quickly went through all of that. I didn't spend much time on the middle because I'm doing that right now with public speaking, but it would work for anything. Why you should use a certain kind of pencil, why you should take time to read every day. So just remember those 3 T's. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then remind them what you told them. Audience members in general have an 18-minute block, and it means that they can listen to you for about 18 minutes before you need to wake them up again. So when you use those same words in the organization of your speech, it helps them, if they've zoned out, track back with you. Oh yeah, we're talking about this tool right now. I don't know. Have you ever been in a lecture where you kind of like, wait, what do you say?
Yes.
Yeah, even with my kids sometimes, like they're just talking, and my mind goes somewhere else. I'm like, I never tell them that I'm not listening. I always pretend that I'm still listening.
Yeah.
Right? It happens to the best of us. So let's move on and let's just talk a little bit about gestures. In this class, we've spent a lot of time considering nonverbal communication. So those are the things that we do with our eyes, our mouth, our posture. And gestures can be very helpful for you when you're speaking because it's a way for you to continue to expend energy. And it also helps the people in your audience who are not auditory learners, but visual learners connect action with what's being said from your mouth. When we stand in closed positions, and I'm sure we all know this, we can form impressions that the person is closed off, that they're bored or not engaged. And as an audience member, as a speaker, you're looking at your audience and you're trying to tell whether or not they're listening to you. So a way to let them feel that you are open, that you're excited, is to keep your hands loose at your side. Try to avoid putting them in your pockets or crossing your arms, fidgeting with your hair, because that shows that, we're nervous if you're playing with your hair. Just try to stand nice and open. If that feels uncomfortable, which it will when you first start doing it, because we're not used to standing and talking without having our hands in our pants or, messing with ourselves in some way. If you're in front of an audience, you can actually move a little bit. So you could walk this way, stand, talk about your first point. Walk to the front right, stand, talk about your next point. And then make your way sort of like a triangle back to your audience. The key is not to shift your weight a whole lot. If you find that you're doing that, it's like, oh man, I have a lot of energy. I need to move my body. So you should actually move and stand, move and stand. And that will be really, really helpful for you in processing your energy, because you're excited to talk and probably a little bit nervous. But once you get rolling and the more you practice public speaking, it really will get a lot easier for you. So, that sort of wraps it up. I've given you some tools for warm-ups. I've told you this tell 'em tool, and we've talked a lot about nonverbal communication in the way of gestures and how to expend that nervous energy. So with that, that's like 8 weeks of coursework wrapped up in I think probably less than 10 minutes. So hopefully that is helpful to you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can let me know. So
that was great. That was great.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you appreciated that and that you found